Welcome to the Odds Breakers, number one place for shared, sharp betting information.
All right, welcome back to podcast 43-18. I'm your host, Kiev O'Neill. You can tweet me at the Public Dog, and you can tweet us at the Odds Breakers. If you're looking for a sports book, please visit uwager.eu and use the promo code TheOddsBreakers for a one-time 100% sign-up bonus. You need to be using multiple books to get the best lines. Terms and conditions apply. If you'd like to help us out, then we would love to help you out. Become an Odds Breakers member by visiting the website, theoddsbreakers.com. Click on Patron Subscriber, and for $12.99 a month, you can have access to our premium picks. When we make the picks, don't risk the line moves, as well as get the podcast early. So thank you very much for all you listeners that have done that. It's been a little bit overwhelming, the amount of people that became members the last few weeks. So if I don't get to you right away, I will tweet out the summary of this week's bets. So just know that I am on it, but I get very backed up. And thank you, of course, to all you listeners anyway, the non-members. We need you. We love you. We wouldn't be here without you. You don't have to become a member, of course. Please get whatever you can out of the show. This show is all about shared, sharp betting information. We are soon going to have a page for the Patreon subscribers as well on theoddsbreakers.com. It's just going to be a login page where you can see lots of sharp handicappers, free picks for the week compiled into one area. So no, for members, that is coming as well. Obviously, if you haven't already, please visit theoddsbreakers.com and subscribe to our free picks newsletter. What a great weekend of college football. Not so much for the sharp bettors or even the bettors in general. We eked it out 10-11, only down 0.4 units. So not even down a unit because some of our bigger bets went through. Was pretty tough. NFL, though, 5-2. You know, how's that for a change? Glad the NFL kind of saved our ass this week and turned the weekend into being profitable. That was pretty huge. In the NCAA, out of 100 plays, we are 56, 43-1, up 16.5 units. NFL, we are 12-15, minus 2.9 units. In teasers, we are 1-1. NFL teasers. But, yep, the NFL saved our ass last weekend. A lot of dogs we went on, and that was helpful. And we'll get into a little bit more of the NFL stuff later. We want to first cover a question brought to the Odds Breakers from Matt Holmes. He asked me on Thursday if he should cover a large spread that he likes by laying minus 1,200. And he was talking about the Miami, North Carolina game. Now, that's a turnover chain game. It's a nighttime game in Miami. So you know that turnover chain's coming out. The crowd's hyped. The home field advantage goes from 3 to 6. You know, that was a game Miami was winning, but we didn't know by how much. This was a pretty large spread, minus 18.5. But do you cover 12 units to get that 1 unit back or even half? No, you don't. I'd just rather even put an extra unit on the spread if I feel good about it, you know. What if your quarterback gets injured in the first 5 minutes of the game? You know, that could change the whole game whatsoever. What if it starts rainstorming and then, you know, just completely storming and you're playing our team that's just decent at running, yet you rely on the pass. That's why you're laying 18.5. That could happen. What if your running back he broke up with his girlfriend 2 days before and he decides to fumble it 3 different times on the other end of the field? There's just too much variance to lay this kind of juice in football. Now, I guess I would lay higher juice, like if the spread's minus 3.5 and I really want to bet the game, but I don't, it's past the 3, right? And you're going to lay about minus 170 for that. That's, maybe if you're betting on your team, maybe you're a Georgia fan or something. Maybe you're a West Virginia fan and they're laying 3.5, but you're just not sure. They're playing Texas and you're like, I'll just bet the game. That's when I would lay maybe minus 170 to win, 100. But lately I haven't cared that much about to do that because we have so many selections out there and so many other options. I just probably stay off that game in the most case, but I have no problem with you taking minus 170 on a game like that. I want to quick cover my top 10 teams. Okay. Everyone's talking about their top 10. Well, I have a top 10 too, based upon mostly power ratings, but a little bit of who deserves to be where too. This doesn't exactly follow the power ratings. I have Ohio State number 1. Okay. Now, don't fret, Alabama fans. Okay. Don't start sending me hate mail. The reason I did it is because Ohio State faced adversity. Alabama has not. Ohio State proved they can go into Beaver Stadium and in Happy Valley against the whiteout and make that comeback in the fourth quarter. That's extremely hard. Now, don't mind the fact that James Franklin blew the game a little bit himself with the 4th and 5 and a bunch of dope plays. Timeouts were terribly managed. But at the same time, Ohio State went over there and faced adversity, and they did well at doing that. Penn State's a very legit team. They're number 2 and 3 in a lot of people's power rankings, okay? So props to Ohio State, and that's why I move against Alabama. Now, if Ohio State played Alabama, I probably wouldn't be betting Ohio State. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't bet the game unless it was not in between the threes. If some team was laying 3.5, I go the other way. If the other team's laying 3.5, I go the other way. That's how I'd bet that game. But Alabama has played no ranked teams, and that's why I have them at number 2. Their schedule's been cake. Now, maybe they are better than Ohio State, but I just don't know that right now. Number 3, I have Penn State. At least they played one ranked team and did extremely well and almost won. But I had Penn State 3 or 4 last week as well. Number 4, I have Georgia, another SEC team that hasn't played any ranked teams. How perfect is it for Alabama and Georgia the last couple of years? When Georgia first gets good, last couple of years, right? They don't play Alabama, for the next few years. It's just been perfect for each other that they're not going to take each other out of the question, out of the playoffs. It's perfect for them. When you have a team like Michigan and they're playing Wisconsin, you have a team like Penn State, they're playing Wisconsin. That's difficult. So it's really, the scheduling has worked out perfect for them to get to the dance and not to forget they have a great media backing. Number 5, I have Oklahoma. Once again, played no ranked teams, but they look the part, don't they? Blowing out people. Number 6, Notre Dame. I'm a little higher on Notre Dame than other people, but it's because they switched their quarterback from Wimbush to Ian Book. Book is playing exceptionally well. The team is motivated. They played 2 power-ranked teams, and the better quarterback. I think they deserve number 6. Now, if you're talking playoffs, right now, I think that you might even have to put Notre Dame in. Obviously, it's way too early, just because they actually played someone, and you can't keep their schedule out.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
All right. Moving on to LSU, I have at number 7. LSU deserves to be in the top 10 easily. Now, I think I'm a little bit lower on LSU. I might fade them even this week against Florida. We'll see. But just for what they did, beating Auburn and beating Miami on a neutral field, that was close to them, but it was still a neutral field, Jerry's World. You got to give them props for that. And they went out to Auburn in a perfect spot for them to let down, and they go ahead and win the game. They didn't win it by much. It took their field goal kicker to win the game. But they're, I'd say they're just as good as Auburn as of right now. I wouldn't bet them to cover too many large spreads. Clemson is number 8. They played no ranked teams, and now they have quarterback issues, okay? You saw what happened to Trevor Lawrence. I don't know how long he's going to be out. Their backup played pretty well, but this was against a bad Syracuse defense. Well, a medium to bad Syracuse defense. They're better than they have been the last few years, but not good enough. Number 9, Washington. They played one ranked team, and it was at that ranked team state of Georgia. Obviously, they lost to Auburn. A lot of people thought Washington was the better team. And then number 10, I have Auburn that barely lost to LSU, should not have, and they beat Washington. Now, I guess you can throw the Michigans after that. The West Virginia's just barely. Yeah, I think they might have West Virginia 11 right now. Wisconsin's maybe like 13. They're kind of like on the outside looking in. Miami, way overranked in some people's power ratings. They should be, 14 or 15. But, that's kind of how it shapes out. Let's quick cover what happened last week. And if my voice goes, I apologize. I do have a slight respiratory infection, which I got traveling on business last week in Orange County. I was enjoying some delicious bourbon, but I think it was the delicious cigar that that helped ruin my voice for the next day. Felt great, though. But anyways, North Carolina versus Miami. Like I said, never bet against Miami at a night game. The Wisconsin Orange Bowl was the exception to the rule. Don't do it. The hype there, the turnover chain adds another 2 to 3 points on home field advantage. These kids in Miami are playing at about 120% when it's a night game at the U. Memphis versus Tulane. Another rule I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about. Never bet against a smaller conference home dog after they played a powerhouse like Ohio State. Ever hear the saying that when you play better competition, it makes you that much better? Some people, they have their kids played in the grade up, and then they become beasts when they come to high school. That's true, okay? And we kind of saw it in this game. Tulane, they got better by playing Ohio State, and then they beat Memphis outright. And I'm so pissed at myself for not betting on this. It was just a really, really busy-ass week. I missed it. Missed that idea. I totally forgot about it. Syracuse versus Clemson. Man, when Trevor Lawrence went out, I thought that Q's had a shot to win this outright. Clemson's third-string backup, Chase Bryce, did a fantastic job to win this game in the fourth quarter. The running back won it for them over 200 yards. That 4th and 6 was huge. All right, it was absolutely huge, and they won him the game. We're going to monitor Lawrence's status going forward. West Virginia at Texas Tech, kind of the same deal here. Trevor Bowman was injured in the first half, but backup Joe Duffy did a pretty good job with 2 TDs until late in the game, and he threw that pick 6. Tech was coming back by 7, down by 7, and then the pick 6 took him out of the game and killed it. And they actually kind of had a shot even with the last few seconds left. We're going to have to take a look at what happened to Trevor Bowman right there. I think it was a concussion. Actually, it was Alan Bowman. My apologies. And he had a partially collapsed lung. We're going to have to monitor his status as well. K-State versus Texas. This game was slow, just like we thought. That's why we hit that under. Texas looked pretty legit. At the end of the game, they let them back a little bit, but can't wait till this Oklahoma game next week. That's going to be probably the marquee game. The spread's always like 7.5 or something like that. Baylor versus Oklahoma. I keep thinking I was going to cover the 24, but Oklahoma kept scoring 1 billion touchdowns here. So right now Murray looks like every bit as good as Baker Mayfield, but that's going to fade off, I think. As soon as they get into their schedule a little bit more, Let's see who Oklahoma has played.